These men accidentally stumbled upon a strange and eerie town. The once bustling streets were now eerily deserted, as if the townspeople had vanished into thin air. Strange occurrences began happening one after another. Neil entered what he thought was the men's restroom, only to find a woman inside one of the stalls. Meanwhile, Mikey seemed to have discovered something valuable, but then he noticed a bloody handprint on the wall. Curious, he compared his hand to it, thinking it was just some prank. Suddenly, he heard a noise coming from a nearby yard. Puzzled, he approached to investigate and was horrified to see a woman eating raw, pickled intestines. The sight sent chills down Mikey's spine, and the woman's appearance didn't seem right at all. Sensing something was terribly wrong, Mikey watched in fear as the woman stood up, grabbed a nearby axe, and he bolted away in terror. Meanwhile, the rest of the group also encountered a strange woman. Clueless about what was happening, they started joking around, even considering giving her some spare change. Suddenly, a soldier rushed out and tackled the woman to the ground, immediately pummeling her without saying a word. Surprised by the situation, the group quickly moved in to rescue the woman, believing they were stopping an assault. The soldier didn't get a chance to explain himself before taking a punch to the face. At that moment, the woman on the ground suddenly stood up, grabbed a sharp knife from the ground, and staggered towards Neil. Before he could react, she stabbed the knife straight through his hand. Neil pushed her away with all his strength and quickly warned his friends that something was seriously wrong with this woman. Seeing her waving the knife around, panic set in among the group. Just in time, Mikey arrived and knocked the woman out cold with a powerful punch. When he pulled off her mask, they were horrified to discover that she wasn't a woman at all, but a zombie. The group was thrown into a state of panic, but the nightmare was far from over. More and more female zombies began appearing on the street. Realizing the danger, the group, now accompanied by the soldier, quickly fled the scene. They initially planned to drive out of the eerie town, only to discover that the female driver who had brought them there had also turned into a zombie. With no other option, they quickly retreated and took refuge in a nearby house. Luckily, the zombies didn't manage to follow them. Once the soldier regained consciousness, the group immediately questioned him about what had happened. The soldier explained that the town was under siege by an unknown virus that only affected women, turning them into bloodthirsty zombies. The only solution seemed to be escaping the town by car, but their driver had already succumbed to the virus. In this dire situation, the group brainstormed and came up with a plan. Under the cover of night, they stealthily made their way outside and convinced the handsome Neil to lure the zombie-turned driver away. After some persuasion, Neil opened the door of the bus and used his injured hand to attract the zombie's attention. The plan worked. The zombie was successfully drawn away, allowing the others to sneak onto the bus. Just as the soldier started the engine, a few zombies suddenly appeared from the back seats, causing the group to panic and flee. Patrick, who was at the rear, tripped and fell. Seeing his friends sprinting away at top speed, he quickly got up and dashed towards a billboard, climbing up just before the zombies could reach him. Meanwhile, the others, who had managed to return to the town, were suddenly blocked by a few zombies. As they attempted to escape, they realized it was too late. Zombies were closing in from all directions. These zombies wielded an array of makeshift weapons. One had a power drill, another brandished a billboard, and others swung large machetes. With no weapons of their own, the group was immediately plunged into a life-threatening situation. At that moment, a zombie wielding scissors lunged at Vince, but suddenly a baseball came flying in, striking the zombie. It was Patrick, who then swung his bat again, hitting the billboard held by another zombie. The baseball ricocheted off and smacked another zombie right in the face. This unexpected move caused the two zombies to start fighting each other, sparking a chaotic brawl among all the zombies. Seizing the opportunity, the group attempted to sneak away, but in the confusion, they got separated. The soldier and a few others ducked into a clothing store. As they peered outside at the swarm of zombies, Graham came up with a brilliant idea. Soon after, the three men emerged from the store dressed in women's clothing, walking confidently down the street. It turned out these zombies only attacked men. Matt and Vince made their way to a church, only to find that it appeared to be the site of some kind of experiment, possibly related to the strange events unfolding in the town. Meanwhile, things weren't looking so good for Patrick, who was still perched atop the billboard. The zombie bride chopped down the support beams below, causing Patrick to tumble to the ground. Although he narrowly avoided being crushed by the falling billboard, he injured his leg in the process. Limping his way over to the bus, Patrick managed to snatch the baseball bat from the zombie driver. As the zombie bride closed in on him, Patrick, now armed and ready, showed no signs of fear. With swift action, he took down the zombie bride. Shortly after, he crossed paths with his 3 comrades, who were still dressed in their disguises. The reunited group then made their way to the church, where they found the rest of the survivors. As the horde of zombies closed in, the group quickly took refuge inside the church. Matt hurried to connect the power, and to their surprise, the church was wired to the town's surveillance system. Suddenly, a woman's face appeared on the screen. It was the mayor, the same woman from the town's posters. She began speaking in cryptic terms, hinting that she was somehow connected to the events unfolding in the town. Realizing there was no more hiding the truth, the soldier finally confessed everything. It turned out that the military had partnered with the mayor to conduct biochemical experiments in the town. However, something went horribly wrong, leading to a mutation that turned all the women into bloodthirsty zombies, while the men were left as their helpless prey. At that moment, Matt discovered a crate filled with unused biochemical virus samples. Just as he excitedly turned to show the others, his expression suddenly shifted to one of sheer terror. A decaying zombie had stealthily attacked the soldier from behind, leaving the group frozen in fear. Fortunately, Matt reacted quickly and managed to take down the zombie. After the ordeal, Matt mentioned needing to use the restroom, and Vince decided to follow him. But what they stumbled upon was horrifying. Matt was impaled by a zombie wielding a sword. Panic-stricken, Vince immediately turned and ran, with the relentless zombie hot on his heels. This time, the group chose not to flee. Matt's death had left them enraged. The 3 of them managed to subdue the zombie, and Mikey, filled with anger, grabbed a large blade and swiftly ended the zombie's life. After a quick, solemn prayer for Matt, they prepared to leave. But just as they were about to go, a horde of zombies suddenly burst through the door, forcing them to retreat to the 2nd floor. Graham blocked the door to buy time, while the others started jumping out the window to escape. Just then, a passerby named Banksy happened to walk by. Vince, desperate, called out for help, asking Banksy to find a ladder. Although Banksy had no idea what was going on, he agreed to help. Once the ladder was in place, Mikey was the first to climb. But just as he started, a zombie grabbed him from below. The ladder was positioned across to the building on the other side, so the group decided to use this to their advantage and began climbing across to safety. Soon, only Graham was left. He barely made it onto the ladder when a zombie caught up to him, causing the ladder to flip over. Graham fell hard to the ground, and before he could react, the zombie leaped down after him, crushing him under its weight. Seeing Graham flatten, the others had no time to mourn. They raced back to the bus. Together, they managed to pull the zombie driver off the bus, allowing the rest of the group to jump inside. Just as they were about to leave, Banksy, who had helped them earlier, was ambushed by a zombie. With the horde closing in, the remaining survivors quickly boarded the bus. Mikey, always thinking ahead, reminded the driver to watch out for elderly zombies on the road. They sped away, crashing through obstacles as they finally escaped the horrors of the eerie town.